Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. Tonight, I'm joined once again by Chris, and we're going to be discussing Maximum Overdrive, directed by Stephen King and based on his short story Trucks from his anthology Night Shift. The film follows events where machines become sentient and go on a killing spree. The movie was made on a budget of $9 million and drew in $7.4 million at the box office.
Not so good.
It's better than some. There's lots of movies I've covered, and like the amount spent on them and what they brought in, just night and day. This came close, but I think a lot of it was to do with Stephen King's name being attached. If we're honest,
Yeah, but it's become like a cult, one of those cult movies that everyone seems to have seen it when you talk to them about it.
Yeah, God, it's cheesy, man. It's a complete and utter cheese fest. Have you read the short story?
I haven't. No. Is that better? It has to be better.
It pretty much falls along the same beats. So those anthology Night Shift, that one, it basically just goes whatever, except there's no resolution, there's no epilogue to explain everything.
Oh,
it just basically goes, this is the way the world is. Deal with it.
So you're saying this wasn't the prequel to the Disney movie Cars?
No, I don't think so.
Kind of the same themes, right? Kind of the same themes, Cars coming to life.
Now we need a horror version of Cars.
Yeah.
Somebody's bound to have done it.
It's a good thing they didn't call it Trucks, the movie. There'd be some kids that would be very confused and messed up.
Yeah, good. Nah, Stephen King would have sued them anyway. He goes ballistic at certain. He is so random. The stuff he lets slide in terms of creative license with his works and other stuff he throws his teddy bear at the prom.
It's true.
Taking you're familiar with Lawnmower Man?
No, I'm not.
The Lawnmower Man? Right.
No. I remember seeing the commercials for it, but I never saw it.
Right. So the short story, The Lawnmower Man's in this same book, The Night Shift. Right. Okay. And the story couldn't be any more different from the movie. And Stephen King absolutely threw a wobbler. He took him to court. He went absolutely ballistic and demanded that his name, no mention of his name, be associated with the movie. And the movie was actually better than his short story. Because the short story is about a man turning into a goat.
He picks the wrong fights, it sounds like.
He's an odd one. He's become a real miserable old shite.
Yeah.
He really has. He's become like just super miserable, unhappy human being. You're like, okay, mate. Well, obviously, if that's the price of success, I'll pass.
Yeah.
I'd be terrified of becoming like people like him. Like, they're so full of self-loathing and hatred, and you're like, why?
Yeah. I don't know if it's guilt for some reason for being, a success, or I don't know what it is, but yeah, I've never heard him in an interview where he's happy. He's always complaining about something. Yeah.
And you're like, come on, man.
Yeah.
He's the exception to the horror rule. We were talking about how horror people were laid back just before it went live, and it's like he's definitely the exception to the rule because he is miserable as shite.
Yeah.
But hey, it takes all sorts in this world. That's what makes it interesting. But down to this movie. God, probably you talk me into watching this again.
So the way this started was a buddy of mine for movie night decided to watch like an 80s horror because you got me on this kick now with the we watched The House, and I was like, I wonder like there are other movies that like scared me as a kid that would be fun to watch now. So we started watching it and we just were laughing hysterically, but I was like, I got to review this with Colin. This is crazy. This movie is just it's got the makings of a good horror plot. It's
absolutely.
Machines coming to life is pretty scary. And that scene with the lady, I guess it's like the what was it? The thing at the cutter
kitchen,
in
the electric carver.
Electric carver, yeah. Like that was pretty terrifying. Like if they had just kept to that. But it just went off the rails quickly.
Yeah, the logic centers don't fire in this one. That's the problem. There's no logic, and when you leave logic behind, that's why things like the Terminator, well, the first two anyway, make so much sense and are pretty frightening because it could happen. Even things like the Matrix could happen. As we see, VR and the things are getting more and more advanced. It's possible. It's like, because machines come to life closer to sci-fi than horror, but it's our Battlestar Galactica as an example. Like the remake really played on the horror aspect of it.
Right. True.
So, it's there. The idea of machines that are our servants coming to life and then becoming our overlords or our destructors is always there, and multiple genres. It's Isaac Asimov. Have you ever read him?
I have a couple. Yeah, a couple. Yeah, he's
like
great.
the Art of Neil series and My Robot.
I think I Robot was the one. Yeah.
Yeah. He did a whole series of detective, and his robot partner Art O'Neill. Because everyone that was a robot has a prefix R to signify the robot, because it becomes that they're becoming that close. Fucking even Blade Runner. Look at that. That was the horror scenes in Blade Runner. Were out there for the time.
Yeah.
So there's so, well, I suppose the point. I'm not making a point now. I'm just waffling. But hey, like you said, there's so much wealth of material out there to put and make a good story, and we got this.
Yeah. And there are parts that sound like they'd make for an amazing scene, like the cars falling off the bridge in the opening scene. Like, in theory, that should be an amazing horror movie opening, but they mix it in with the two workers yelling at each other and the watermelons and the tennis people.
Oh god, death by, I actually put that one in the notes. Death by watermelon, like what the hell? Yeah, screaming at the melons was a bit much. Like, just like, let's scream at some watermelons. Like, one thing I've noticed, Stephen King, like a lot of his adaptations, a lot of his stories, he absolutely despises working class people.
Yeah,
I mean, he has an innate hatred. Every time there's a depiction of somebody, a blue collar worker, somebody in a boiler suit, they're always a dickhead
or an idiot. Yeah.
He absolutely despises working class people, and that kind of offends me, being from a working class background. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like,
really,
we're all morons, just destined to be, fodder. We can't. There's no social mobility. Is that the way it is?
Yeah.
But he actually makes the middle class, the class society here, look quite tame and accepted. With his I always think there's something broken in Stephen King. There's he could be a timeless writer. He could be, he could have been one of the bards of the century, if that makes sense.
I mean, I think he's an amazing writer, and he's very efficient. I mean, look at George R.R. Martin. He's been working on
he's an
the last book for like 17 years. It feels like.
God,
I mean, Stephen King pumps these stories out, so he's got talent, but he just, like you said, there's just too many themes. Yeah,
there's something broken in him, and there's this like, I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about his life or his background or where he, where he came from to get where he is. But there's something there, or else he's just stuck up, and I can't be bothered with people like that. George R.R. Martin, don't even start me on him. How does anybody not realize after him speaking for like more than 20 seconds that guy's a moron and up his own arse?
Yeah.
Like, there's another one. He's so he smells his own farts too long, I think, and
that's a good way to put it.
Thinks the smell of roses, and he's really not all that.
Yeah.
And but he's another one. He's gonna be finished as a laughing stock. You know what I mean? He went from being the popular thing. He had a chance at a revival, and he blew it. So there you go.
Yeah. I've always been jealous of him because his fantasy novels got turned into this amazing TV show that now has prequels and 7 seasons and everything like that. And the fantasy series that I've been following since the 1980s, Dragonlance, as you know, We got one animated movie that was, looks like it was made in the 70s and it was made in 2011. So I'm a little jealous that he got this awesome production made at HBO.
God, I had no idea. Well, actually, I did because I remember Beauty and the Beast TV show, and the first season had Linda Hamilton on it, and then they got some. I think she left to go and do. Was it the first Terminator? And then they got somebody in for the second season. Yeah, it was basically these this dwelling underground, like homeless people. Oh, by the way, folks, this isn't deliberate. There's about 10 minutes worth of plot in this actual movie, so we'll have to fill it somehow. Because we'll just talk straight about this movie. God, it would be over. Like, all right, and review's done. It's over.
I do have one of my killer clown spacesuit theories, though.
Another one?
About this one. Yeah.
All right. Oh, excellent. But yeah, it was this whole underground, group of, they lived like homeless people, but they had an underground city, and they all wore the same type of uniform. So they were picked out straight away, and I was like, how are you secret if you all like dress a certain way and you don't look like homeless people and weird? And then Vincent was the Beast, some sort of man-lion hybrid, and yeah, of course, this weird love story between. I can't remember what Linda Hamilton's character was meant to be. I don't know if she was a reporter or something, but she got drawn into something and then met him and blah, blah, blah. Can't remember. It was years ago.
Huh.
But it was cheesy as hell.
Yeah. And that was in the late 80s? Beauty and the Beast? I don't think I saw that one. Early 80s?
Yeah, I think it was early 80s. And the only reason I watched... Yeah, that was the point I was getting to. Sorry, I'm a wee bit tired tonight, so excuse me. Brain's kind of switched off a bit. The only reason I watched Game of Thrones is because Sean Bean was on it, and I'm like, yeah, Sean Bean with a sort of game. We're getting like a medieval Sharp series. I don't know if you ever watched the Sharp series.
There's a couple with my brother.
Yeah. That was Sean Bean at his best. Like,
okay, honestly. I think I know who that is. Yeah.
And of course he dies in the first bloody season because that's what Sean Bean's freaking career's been. Just, I think he just gets his script and goes, okay, where's my death scene? Aha, I'll do it. Crazy one. But anyway, yeah. They spent $9 million. The reason I brought up the budget as well, they spent $9 million on this movie, but I don't think they spent any of it on the credits. Like the opening credits of this movie are shocking.
You could almost see like the hand holding the yellow words, right? You could just about make it out. Like you got into the film reel somehow. It looks terrible. Yeah.
It's almost like they're making fun on purpose. Like it's so bad. And well, this was like 1986 or 1987. It wasn't like early 80s or late 70s. It was like right in there.
Yeah. There were some movies around that time. I mean, this is after Return of the Jedi. This is after a whole bunch of movies that, like, God,
what was that?
Looked well.
Yeah, when we did Night of the Creeps, that it was Stephen. We looked at that time between 1985 and 1987, the 3 best years for horror. Like the stuff that came out, I was just looking on the reels, and I mean, hit after hit after hit, and this was like smack bang in that era. So the standard was there, and the ability to make nice looking movies was there. He obviously just didn't decide not to.
And it's Stephen King. You would think the whole point was like, I'm going to take over and do it the right way because I've seen what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, but
then for him to do that,
we've seen this with Clive Barker as well. Yeah, might be a great writer, but director-wise, nah.
Yeah. I think that the opening credits shows like his inexperience as a director, like not knowing, like, oh, I have to put money into this. I have to make this look somewhat respectable is the first thing people are going to see, $9
million's a lot of money. Not time. I wonder where it all went because it looks cheap. I guess maybe it looks cheap.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how much disappeared in the back pockets, like on expenses.
Yeah. That's
Is he still on drugs at that point? He must have disappeared in the little. packets of powdery goodness at the end back then.
Yeah, I did see an interview after where he did say he was on coke pretty bad at this point. So he at least admitted to it. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the whole point was that you were complaining about your other movies not being handled well from your books.
Yeah, and then
So,
then you get to say, I'll do it then, okay?
Yeah, you make it worse.
Who was it? It wasn't Todd McFarlane. Do you remember Sin City?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Who was that? Who was the writer? The comic book writer.
That I'm blanking on.
Oh God, he directed The Spirit.
You're making me look bad. I'm gonna look it up.
I can do it now. Sin City. Sin City. God's sake, where is it? Director Frank Miller.
Oh yeah, Frank Miller. Okay.
Yeah. Frank Miller was assistant producer or something on Sin City. You know what I mean? They had directors, and he decided, I'm going to do this, and then he directed The Spirit. And look what happened there. That was awful.
I guess it's a case of everything isn't as easy as it looks. Like it's easy maybe to criticize what people do wrong, but then for you to do it right is a lot harder, you know?
Absolutely. It's like I don't claim for 1 minute I can direct a movie.
Right.
You know, when I do these sort of reviews and come on here, I don't for 1 minute claim, oh, I can do it better. You know, I just give my opinion of what I think, and if I like something, I explain why. If I don't like something, I explain why.
Yeah. Same thing when I'm watching sports with my son. Like I'll tell him like all the things that the guy did wrong, and then my son will be like, "You know, I haven't even seen you run in a week, you know," and you're telling the guy that he should have jumped with one hand and caught the ball. You know, like, what are you doing, Dad? Mm-hmm. So it's true. It's easier to criticize than to do it yourself. And Stephen King obviously showed that it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah, I think is this his only movie he ever directed?
I think so. Yeah.
I'd give up to after this.
Yeah. But I mean, if it was done as a comedy, it kind of works.
It would have worked as a comedy. It would have been brilliant as a comedy. But the problem is, as we know, Stephen King has absolutely no sense of humor.
Yeah.
I think that's actually his feeling in life. He has no sense of fun.
Yeah, the parts in this that were trying to be funny weren't. Like the two mechanics on the bridge that were fighting, that was just cringeworthy. That was awful. Mm-hmm. But like the parts that weren't supposed to be funny, like the guys getting run over by the trucks when they could have just stepped to the side, you know, like that's the thing about trucks. They don't they don't serpentine very well.
I don't know. I'm on the M25 twice a week, and God, some of those big rigs they throw about like they're scooters. Honestly, some of the people are frightening the way they swing in things about. And you're like, whoa, mate! I'm in a van, and I'm all right. I'm pretty high up, but I couldn't picture like driving amongst these lunatics in a car, being way down because at least with high up, you're not as shocked as much. But these guys are just hurling at 70 miles an hour, boom, like, just waiting for one instant with the load tips, but no, it's they're the long distance ones if they're like local.
Yeah, that's true. But
I don't get
these
though.
Seem to be,
right. These are machines going sentient, but it seems to decide which ones go sentient and which ones are going to sacrifice because they're not too. There's no idea of cohesion or protecting themselves.
Right. So you ready for my theory on this movie? This is overthinking movies from the 80s 101. Okay. So along with my killer clown spacesuit theory, my theory with this one is so there was a UFO. They mention it. First they say there's a comet tail and there's like green mist. But then at the end card at the end of the movie, they say that it was actually a UFO that a Russian shot down. So I think this was an alien species that were like nanobites, like nanotechnology. And I think they don't recognize organic life, or at least they view it as like a virus. So they took over the machines thinking that the machines were actually the life form on this planet. And then when they took over and realized that they were not sentient, they almost decided to like help things out, to make it like it is on their planet. So they decided, let's get rid of these humans and organic life, and we'll keep the machines in charge the way it's supposed to be on their planet. So that's my. So I think it's like little like nanobites that infiltrate the machines and bring them to life.
Right, because it just seemed that very selective. When the plot needed to be, certain machines were okay, and others weren't. But then, like the bridge scene, the truck does it, but they decide now we're going to sacrifice the truck anyway, even though it's one of ours.
Well, because they think like computers, they think like AI, and so they're willing to sacrifice a pawn to help out, the overall goal, which is to get rid of all the humans. So if you think of it that way, that they're machines, so they're willing to make sacrifices like that. They have no heart, they have no emotion. It's just zeros and ones. So I think if you look at it that way, maybe that's why they did that. Am I overthinking this?
I think you're putting more thought into it than Stephen King did.
I can't help it.
Like the short story is about 12 pages, by the way. It's really not that. But yeah, you'd think as well, with the fact they're not taking over every machine, that they would preserve the ones that they have.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it just seemed to be a bit of blasé. To me, it just seemed to be, we need an action shot, let's do this, and then no logic.
Well, they may not know what machine does what until they take over, and then they start to realize the abilities that they have. So maybe they take over the wrong ones. Like instead of taking over, like seriously, they could have taken over like the computers to the nuclear missiles, just launched all the missiles from the different countries, and that would have been it.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't like know what each thing did, so that's why maybe it was kind of random. No, is that a stretch?
I think you're giving them too much credit for this, because honestly, but I think one thing this movie does highlight quite well: anybody that calls their wife or anybody sugar buns, like, they deserve their fate.
Yeah, you knew as soon as he said that he was getting killed, right? That's like the 80s. Yeah, that's like the 80s equivalent of like a teenager having sex on the movie. Like they're dead. They're done.
Yeah. God, what a patronizing word.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's two characters done it. There's the first one, and then there's the Bible salesman.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
And you're like, who the hell says that in seriousness? Like,
yeah, you knew they were getting off. They're not surviving.
Yeah, that was well deserved. You're just like, yeah, okay, yep, you've said it, so be it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like 2D characters in this, like just
for
cannon
sure.
fodder, and once again, it's fallen into the trap of, if we're off on a character, you can't like them, so we'll have to give them no redeeming qualities. So you can't get invested in any characters if they're, getting wiped out. You're like, yeah, but that's part of horror, that you do get invested in the character, and then it's a shock of, you think you're going to make it.
Did you like any of the characters? I couldn't find any of them to root for.
I didn't mind Emilio Estevez's character. He's a bit 2D, let's be honest, a bit of a cliche.
Yeah.
But he wasn't offensive.
Yeah, that's true. Even the kid, though, like the kid,
I like Dink. Yes, the kid Dink. He was. I've actually put a note here. He was the bravest character in the movie.
He was brave, but he seemed to me a little bit like a sociopath or something. He was like riding through the town on his bicycle, and he sees all his neighbors that were like brutally murdered just laying there, and he keeps riding along. It didn't seem to like affect him. I think that kid's gonna have problems later on.
Yeah. I just think it was a child actor, not being able to emote.
Yeah.
But his overarching thing was he needed to get back to his dad. He's seeing all this, and his honing instinct kicked in to get back to his father.
I can see you look at it that way. Yeah, I can.
So his reaction was to be like completely like focused.
Yeah, I can see that.
They made the big thing about the Goblin truck in all the trailers and posters. That's all they ever highlight, but didn't really feature much in the movie.
Yes. So my thought on that is that they felt like they needed like a boss villain. You know, like every horror movie has like a boss villain, and especially in the 80s, like the Gremlins had Stripes, the house had Big Ben at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So they needed one machine to like stand out from the rest. I just don't think it was effective because usually the boss villains have like more power or abilities than the other ones. And this one was just like another truck. Like he didn't seem to do much, you know, anything different than the other ones, you know?
And
it wasn't that powerful.
Yeah, they could have done something with, what was the point of putting I know it's a toy truck, but at the same time, what's the point in focusing on the Gremlin thing? They had its eyes light up once, I think, maybe twice in the whole movie.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a super expensive effect.
No, it wasn't.
They could have had that become more of a monster and actually chewing down, you know. Instead of all the machines going, they could have had that as a renegade truck. There was so much they could have done, especially with the flipping budget this movie was on. This was not a cheaply made movie.
Yeah. So the Goblin was a Hobgoblin from the Marvel comics. So I know how you feel about Marvel movies. So I thought maybe that would put this movie in like the top 3 Marvel movies for you.
Well, let's be honest, could be better. Well, Blade's in the top 3. I'll put all 3 Blade movies in the top 3 Marvel movies and forget the rest.
1, 2, 3. You're done. Yeah, that's it.
No, 1, 3, 2.
Oh, 1, 3, 2.
In that order. 1, 3, 2, yeah. I can't believe he didn't realize that was a horror movie. Like, people are legit getting their throats torn out and blood's dripping from a sprinkler system, and you start off with a flipping pregnant woman who's like dying from a vampire bite, and it's not even like a cute baby, it's flipping covered in gore, and you're like,
yeah, it's literally a vampire. I mean, it's, you know, you can't get more horror movie than a vampire. Yeah.
And not in that, you know what I mean? We're not talking about like an animated, you know, Count Dracula, you know, type, or Sesame Street Count Dracula. You know, you're talking about flipping no messed about vampire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stick those in my top Marvel movies. And Spider-Man No Way Home, I'll put that up there. And the first Iron Man, and then I'll just stop.
I did like those. Yeah, I did like those.
That's the only Blu-ray I've ever bought of the Marvel stuff. Just that one movie. No Way Home. Just that one movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it was more for Tobey Maguire coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. It was good to see him and Andrew Garfield. That was cool. Yeah.
Andrew Garfield's a bit whiny in it.
Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, Tobey Maguire coming back and just being Tobey Maguire's like, yes, you'll do me.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
the Jake Gyllenhaal one was cool too. That was the second one.
I wasn't. No, wasn't fussing up.
I liked him. I thought he was good in it. Jake Gyllenhaal.
I don't know. He's never. I liked him in Jarhead, and I liked him in Donnie Darko.
Yeah,
and that's really about it.
That's it. Okay.
He's one of them actors I struggle to see in a lead role, if that makes sense.
Okay, that's fair.
But hey, you know, I mean, that's why there's like tons of entertainment, because it's all different types.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the way these cards are written, it's like the whole, you know, somebody's filling up a truck and the flipping diesel's not working. What's the daftest thing you've always taught as a kid never to do?
Put diesel in your car.
No, look down the
yeah. That's like a cartoon, right? Let me point the gun and see what's wrong with the whole. That whole scene with the filling up the gas for the trucks, wasn't that just over the top to you? Like they made it. I get that it's a hot day and they're out there pumping gas all day, but they came back and like their hands were all blistered. And it's like they walked in like Moses from the desert after 30 days and collapsed on the floor. Like it was so over the top.
They're trying to make it that it's been done without rest, you know, but Uh, there's a lot in this movie. I say, like, after the 45-minute mark, this movie just drags.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to stay focused when you're watching it.
Yeah.
Like, it opens up
for
and you
sure.
get a bit of the horror. The sort of machines come to life, and that would have been okay and took a bit, but then when it actually happens, then nothing else you know, I mean, it just kind of comes to a stop plot wise.
Yeah, they got a lot of use out of that diner set, right? They were there the whole movie. It reminded me. I was talking to my buddy when we watched this. It reminded me of Tremors. You know, that they're in one place, stuck, you know, trapped by the monsters the whole movie. But I just thought Tremors
that was a tight movie.
I was gonna say Tremors did it more successfully though. This is just
Kevin Bacon and I can't remember the other guy played his brother. But those two were likable characters. Did I review this? Or did I just binge
I don't
them?
think so. No, I don't think
I do a random thing and I just binge a load of movies when I don't want to review anything. I'll just watch a load of and then I think I watched about 3 or 4 of them.
That'd be a fun one to do. Yeah.
Actually, we'll put a pin in that. We'll go back because that's
okay.
There you go. There's a movie I think was done in a much what was it? What was the budget for Tremors? 10 million.
Okay. So kind of similar to this, but just so much better.
I only earned 16 grand.
Tremors?
Yeah, Tremors only earned 16 grand. 16 grand, $667,084.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they still made 5 sequels out of it.
I was going to say, how did people even hear about it then? That's something.
That's a cult film. That's one that's I still I don't know. There's somebody should be, even just for fun, if it's not proper accounting, should be sitting with a wee graph. I think I've said this online, that even if a movie flops, keep it on the radar, because with Blu-ray sales and anniversary and when something comes cult, and just see how long it takes to go back into the green, you know, theoretically.
Yeah.
Because I know after a certain time they get written off, but there's got to be a moment where a lot of these movies have went back in the green again, just purely from merchandise licensing and re-releases.
You feel like they have to, right? Otherwise they wouldn't make a sequel. Like, the studios aren't going to, like, you know, make money, you know, make a movie if the previous one didn't make any money. So they have to have Yeah.
But they made 5 sequels of Tremors, but that was there's a similar budget movie, and there's a more impactful. Like, I have no idea where the budget went for this. I can't see the effects. There's nothing here that's making me cry out and go, "Oh, right, that's good."
The only thing, you know, maybe half of it went to that one scene where the trucks just destroy that gas station. But I mean, that if that's where the money went, it was not worth it.
Now, right, all you need is a balsa wood.
I was just gonna say, you could make a miniature out of it and just destroy that. Yeah.
In fact, it looks like somebody went, you know, with a toy, like a flipping Matchbox car went. It was up. Oh God. But yeah, back to the Goblin truck again. The machine gun cart was more of an impactful leader than the Goblin truck.
Oh my gosh, that was hysterical. Yeah, I mean, I guess if my nanobite theory is correct, then they had to find a way to compel the people to fill up the gas trucks. Mm-hmm. So they realized after being there a little bit, like, okay, these trucks can't do much. Let's try to find something else.
But the nanobite theory, okay, it has to be working engine parts. That's just a turret on a cart. So yes, the cart can move, but the turret doesn't. That's hand operated, and the machine gun definitely doesn't. Like, how do they get the rounds into the machine gun?
Right. And they shot off like so many rounds.
That was 100. You mean that was 100? There wasn't a box cartridge. It was a flipping 100-round belt.
Yeah.
So once that's used up, and trust me, 100 rounds doesn't last very long with a machine gun. Hi.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. And the whole thing where she's yelling at it, "We made you," so over the top. Oh my god.
They I don't know what they were doing. One thing though, the scene at the baseball field, that was the best scene in the whole movie. In terms of dread and horror and the things come to life.
Yeah. Well, as a kid, that was the one that scared me. And I watched it, I think 5 or 6 years old with my older brother. And just the idea of like the baseball coach getting hit in the head and just laying there dead.
Yeah.
And the kids getting run over by the I think
steamroller.
It was
like you actually
steamroller. Like that scared me. So it was funny. We started watching this and I told my wife and my buddy, like, yeah, I'm curious. I haven't seen this since I was a kid, and it's terrified me. They're just looking at me like the whole time, making fun of me. Like, what's wrong with you? How could you be scared? But this was the scene that, that did it for me. That scared me.
Cameron did that to me when I talked about Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was only a kid when I watched it.
Yeah.
Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. Thanks. I picked some good friends, don't I? We'll have to talk about Connie.
Oh my gosh, Lisa Simpson. So I would have lost money betting, like, if halfway through the movie, if you would have told me, like, okay, which people are going to survive, I was going to say Emilio Estevez, the girl Laura Harrington, and the boy.
Love interest. Yeah,
his love interest and the boy, and that was it. I was sure Connie was going to die because that voice so annoying. I was like, oh, there's no way. I was shocked that she made it all the way to the end. What about you?
Yeah, or do you know why sometimes they'll put a red herring in? So they'll have, in a horror movie, like a slasher, for example, they'll have this annoying character, right? And what they do is they get them to wind you up, and you're waiting for them to get off, right? And they'll just keep them going to like close to the end, just teasing you to the point you think they're going to survive, and then you get the satisfaction. The movie that did it best actually was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, latest one.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It's like part 50 or something.
Excuse me, 1 sec. I'll be right back.
All right,
I'll be right back.
No dramas. Yeah, I'll come back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but they did the same thing with that. But yeah, God, this movie, the characters, they're so two-dimensional. Like, you're sitting, and everyone's a bloody stereotype, and you're just like, give me some wee bit of depth. Emilio Estevez is the ex-con trying to make good, and like, there's not much to him. He's working in a diner. One of the cooks. Bubba. Oh God, I'll wait till Chris comes back to talk about Bubba. God, that guy was ridiculous. Like, if you talk about cliche, that was it. But yeah, all through the start of this movie, like, you've got this supposed build-up of terror, and it was partly there, but then it keeps getting interspersed. Like Chris said, you got the overall guys, they're fighting with each other, they're shouting at watermelons. And then you've got scenes just looking absolutely stupid. So every time you're getting the, frightened or getting the dread of the machines come to life, they just put something in absolutely ridiculous. Should it just be the frame the way somebody's lying, or like out there that just takes you straight back out of it, or somebody opens dialogue? The dialogue in this movie makes Michael Bay look like an intellect. Like, honestly, when you're talking about Michael Bay writing better dialogue than's been written in this, you're kind of like, how is that possible? How can you
Michael
screw up
Bay.
so badly? Yeah, I'm just saying the dialogue in this movie makes Michael Bay look like Shakespeare.
That's fair. That's fair.
Where was it? Back to God, what was I just saying there? I had a thought in my head. Somebody rewind and tell me what I was thinking. That was a really chat. What was I saying to you before you went off?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Yes,
the
right.
new one.
So the girl character, one of the main girl characters, was really irritating, and I mean obnoxiously so. And they just teased you right up to the end, thinking, "Oh, this wee bitch is going to survive, isn't she?" Huh? Oh, right, no, yay! You know, it's one of them type of things. And when horror is self-aware, it can do some amazing things and really play with you, and let you know that it's playing with you. And then that's part of the fun because you know it's not actually being done. It's been done in jest. You know, and there's a dark sense of humor with horror fans. And I think the horror fans that are creators tend to get it. And then there's this bit of playoff between the creator and the audience, if that makes sense.
I could see that.
And it's this case of, we know the tropes, and we're going to use the tropes, but we're gonna mess you about a wee bit. And it's a bit like pantomime. It's a, oh no, they didn't. Oh yes, they did. You know, that sort of stuff. It's Punch and Judy show. You know, it's that base at times.
Yeah.
It's fun, but there's no fun in this.
I think Stephen King failed as a director to let her live, though. She was the worst. Ugh, Connie.
Yeah. Is that her normal voice? I think I've seen that actress in something else.
She plays Lisa Simpson on the Simpsons.
All right, thank
so
you.
I think, I don't think it's as exaggerated. Because I've seen her in other things, and it's more normal. Yeah.
Okay, phew. Because that's Oh God, imagine that being stuck with that. Man. Yeah, and then you've got the other annoying character, Bubba. Like, talk about a walking cliche.
Gosh. Yeah. You knew he was doomed.
Yeah, but
at least they did the right thing.
What is the point of someone like that in the world?
So 2D. So not even a full human. And what was an owner of a gas station and a diner doing with all that military grade rocket launchers and machine guns?
But not only that, there even without getting to that side of things, it's a diner, right? Got everyone's hands in the pump. There's no directors unless it's a chain.
Right.
But you're gonna have a head office. You're not gonna be the director in the bloody diner itself.
Right.
So how the hell does he operate? Like, there's no way. Something like that, you know what I mean? That would have to be Michelin star level, like diner. But even then, the head chef is the one in charge, that owns the place.
Right.
What the hell is his character? This takes a complete break from reality, even, and that's the problem. When you can't latch on to reality of any shape or form in just basic human functions, how can you suspend disbelief?
You can't take you can't take this movie seriously, which is a shame because it has like a really cool premise. It was like you mentioned, Terminator and other movies did it a lot better, but AI coming, Matrix, AI coming to
Toy
life.
Soldiers did it better.
Toy Soldiers, that's a great one. Yeah.
That's sick. The Gorgonauts and the other ones. What were the other ones called? They did it better.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's a shame they wasted a good premise on just terrible decisions.
Yeah, and that's the thing about any fantastical movie, not just horror, but sci-fi, fantasy, you name it. You have to have a grip in reality first. You have to have your feet in the ground. So let's take fantasy, for example. If people aren't living as medieval, if they aren't living normal lives and they don't see that, lifting a cart is heavy, trying to get a cart to go through the mud is difficult, how are you going to appreciate when somebody uses magic?
Right.
Because you have to have that grip. gripping reality, then you enjoy them fantastical. Sci-fi,
Yeah.
if people sci-fi, I think that sci-fi is they're always bound by rules, because any sci-fi movie that isn't bound by rules, and that's the rules of their technology, they have to set those boundaries earlier, because
Right.
if you don't have a basis that people can wrap their head around the basics of the technology, then it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like when you talk about hyperdrives, interdimensional travel, whatever the thing might be, if it's a dystopian universe, how it got there, what's scarce, what's plentiful, how society formed. If you don't have that basics, then you can't appreciate it. And it's the same in horror.
Yeah.
If you don't have normal human characters and human interaction and human society, then you can't appreciate when it falls apart.
Yeah. I know. I always bring up Star Wars. I know you're going to get mad, but it's true. I think one of the reasons that Star Wars originally was successful is there was a
mad. I am well past. I got mad after The Last Jedi, and after all the name calling, I went past through madness and the apathy, and I'm well beyond apathy to whatever, you know.
But I think one of the reasons it was originally successful, the first movie, is that, like you said, they grounded it in reality. They went to a bar. The technology was dirty and didn't work all the time. And you know what I mean? It had that gritty.
You know, I mean, engines about put. You know, even the hover speeders and stuff. There was, you know, you could see there was jets out of the bottom. But he even screwed that up because he started tinkering with it and doing stupid CGI. So when he re-released, it got stupid.
Yeah.
Even the original trilogy, when he started adding daft shit to it.
Right. Yeah. But at the original premise, though, you're right. You have to ground it. And with these characters being so unrealistic, it was hard to care about them. Yeah. Look at that. We made a good point.
Yeah.
We collectively made a good point.
There we go. But that's it. So you have this diner, and then it has an office with a director. You know what I mean? And he's just bullying people for the sake of it, and just absolutely serving no purpose whatsoever. And then how he survived so long, he should have been one of the first, you know. But I think he's one of them wind-up characters.
Yeah.
He's there to wind you up.
Yeah.
Until the gag is that he's there to wind you up for as long as possible till it's his time.
I guess. Yeah. It just wasn't done well. Yeah.
And even the basic logic, okay, so somebody gets killed in front of the diner, because this is where the movie starts showing all over the place, and it centers in this diner. The most random place on the planet.
Like, yeah.
And in fact, even looking at the fuel aspect of it, this is a pit stop in the middle of nowhere. People going places, so you'd have to actually make a concerted journey out. There's more places closer to hand that'd be just as easy to be taken over.
Sure.
So once again, even the logic of that makes no sense.
Yeah. And why would they send so many trucks and
100 miles out of the city? There's loads of petrol stations to this random one.
Right. Yeah, the logic is just not there. Yeah,
and that's what takes me out of it all the time. But even worse, the first person that gets killed outside, I know, let's take the body from outside and bring it inside where we're going to be trapped. And put it down with the food and stuff, because that makes sense.
Alexa, stop. Echo, stop. Oh, see, AI is coming to get me.
Yeah, that's it. Who are you talking about? I'm just trying to program those things now that if you don't say please, that you can have a polite mode on it. That it won't respond.
Are they really?
Yeah, that's been going around for a bit now. You can have like a polite mode where they're trying to put it in.
Wow. That's how it starts. This is how it starts. Well, if I'm electrocuted in the next 10 minutes, you know what happened. But
you forgot your P's and Q's.
But bringing the body in made no sense. And then even the way they told the kid, because that was his father.
Yeah.
A Dink. But they were just like, good news, bad news. Good news is we were able to bring your dad back inside after he was hit by the truck. Bad news, he's already dead. I mean, it was like that. It was just the way they did it was so, just callous.
And the wee kid just shrugged. Like I don't blame the kid. He's only a child actor at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I don't expect much when I get a child actor. But yeah, just the way they had it, was so blasé. But there's so much time in this movie. That's the thing. That should have been a poignant scene.
Yeah.
And Dink trying to get to his father, just he could have been muttering to himself, "No, gotta get the dad, gotta get a dad." And then you would have had some, when he's looking at this stuff, a wee bit of, gotta get a dad, help me,
Exactly.
Just something like that would have been really easy to do.
Yeah.
And give you a bit of this thing. But no.
Now we're left thinking that he's like this. I don't know, like he's gonna be John Connor. He's gonna grow up to be John Connor, is what it is.
Yeah.
He's used to seeing all this bloodshed, and he's fine with it. He's the future leader of the resistance.
Yeah, like I said, the plot couldn't decide which machines were to be sentient in someone because Connie and her husband, their car was fully in control the whole time. Yet we've seen people like getting killed by the wind, the window.
Right.
Like that the girl's like caught out the side, and then even the wee doggy getting killed by the remote control car was like sad, pointless, but it was just like showing that everything was coming alive. So why was that happening? Yet there's a perfectly good car that should have just stopped.
They ran out of nanobites. No, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's the whole logic function.
Yeah.
Everyone should have been ditching their cars and machines and actually on foot. And they could have spent because this sort of has a pace up to the 45-minute mark, and then it just drags.
For sure.
They spend all the time set up to get everybody into the diner. And then when they have everybody in the diner, they don't know what to do with the rest of the movie. Because they know they've got to escape, but then they've got this, like, what was it, like another 40 minutes to try and kill.
Yeah, there's no character development. Yeah, no character development. They just sat there in the diner and kind of waited to get killed one by one. Yeah.
Yeah, doing stupid things. And then when it turns out they had an entire arsenal, not just one or two, but an entire arsenal in the thing. And never mind the rocket launcher. These things are trucks on wheels, so the shotguns, the M16s, you name it.
Yeah.
Blow out the tires, like front tires of every vehicle, done.
Yeah. If they weren't going to use them, why even show that as a director? Why show thousands of guns in the basement if they're not going to use any of them? It doesn't make sense.
I think this is down to Stephen King again, and he has certain views and things. So because of his bias, he has to portray things in a bad light. And that's just, So
this is just a blue-collar workers not being smart enough to take advantage?
Basically.
Yeah.
That's just what he, unfortunately, that's just type it is. Oh.
Makes sense.
Very interesting. Oh my god, we got spammed. We've got a bot. Is it?
Oh, is that on Twitch or YouTube?
It's in Twitch. We got a. That's a bot, isn't it? Have we got a bot? Yeah, we got a bot. Victorious.
That's how you know you made it.
Yep. I just hold on. I'll go grab my credit card right now. In fact, you know what? I'll not even DM it. I'll just read it out. How about that? Would that make things easier? 1, 5, 7, 8. That. Do you need to be number in the back? No problem. 1, 2, 3. There.
That's a combination I have in my luggage from Spaceballs.
Oh man, brilliant. Oh, by the way, if you're not a bot, sorry, but I'm just waiting for that. No, I'm not a bot. Actually, I'd be like, okay.
This is the perfect movie for your first bot, though. When you think about it,
yeah, the AI is coming for us. It's just
they heard about they know that I'm onto them with my nanobite technology. They're coming for me.
My fantastic community on Twitch, by the way, is sitting beside me because it was you who talked me into going to Twitch. You and Oliver, that's the community.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It just takes.
It's an interesting platform, actually.
Yeah, the Brotherhood of the Dice people seem to like it.
Yeah, yeah, we're playing there tomorrow night again. I think we're going to get off this ship a bit early because we've kind of burnt it. We've kind of run out of plot.
Yeah, sure.
Mayhem starting to. So I think I don't think we're going to role play 11 full days on a ship. I think we're going to speed things along a bit and then get to Egypt.
Oh yeah.
That's a good adventure. I'm actually enjoying that. Do you know what? There's more plot in that adventure than there is in this movie.
I can see it. Yeah, that's fair. That's a good crew, though, too. That's a good group. That's a good group of.
Oh yeah, have a lot of fun. Like, and they've got my sense of humor.
Yeah,
just that dry sort of, don't care about the world, which I'm all about. I just love the way I started off though that game. Yeah. By the way, you're taking over what was previously an NPC. Your character's an arsehole and everybody hates him. I'm like, yay, that's a good intro. Let's go with that.
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun to play that.
Yeah, that's basically what it's worked. And then my dice rolls are working in favor of my character because my character's up his own arse and thinks he knows more than he does. So every time he actually tries to do be a psychiatrist, he fails, and it just adds to it. And everyone gets a joke.
It fits perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about a plot, like that machine gun really bugs me.
Yeah.
Plus, also
that was 10.
That's definitely an American device because who the frig just invents a wheelbarrow for a machine gun because you're too lazy to friggin' carry the bloody thing?
Yeah. Or how,
what is the
how about
point?
even put like a plyboard or something in front of it, like it just out in the open.
Are there 10 of these things in a row? People just going boom, 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 boom. Like, you might have a machine gun in the vehicle that carries troops and has a purpose. What the hell is that thing all about?
Yeah. That looked like the set designer was like halfway through, just was sick of working with Stephen King. And he's like, it's good enough. I'm leaving. Yeah, that was not a finished idea, whatever that was.
It just made no sense.
Yeah. That was weird.
God. There was a Cyborg movie. Can't remember the name of it. But the guy plugged himself in. He had those sort of tracks. And he his top half plugged into this thing and he went along.
Oh, I see that.
Oh, it's ancient. And that's what it reminded me of, just it has a machine gun on top. And there's time travel as well.
Oh, I got to see this movie. This is right up my alley.
It's a time traveling cyborg with tracks instead of feet.
What else do you need?
And it was a better movie than this. It was cheesy as hell.
I believe it.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck. Maybe you can help me out, because once everybody gets into the diner and the trucks, and also, why weren't the trucks just waiting, and then the minute somebody goes out, dude, why were they spinning round and round and round?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it before the stream. They're like toddlers just playing merry-go-round or something like that. Ring around the rosy. It made no sense. Yeah, there's no reason to just keep driving in a circle. Just, yeah. I mean, I guess isn't intimidation, but like you said, it just wait. There's no save your gas, especially when you're running low on gas. Save your gas and wait for them to come out. Or also, I was saying, while watching the movie,
how did that track thing? There's no way that thing has a big enough fuel tank to get out there.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And it didn't come off the back of another truck. It just appeared.
Yeah. Yeah, that made no sense. And I was saying, too, during the movie, these are some pretty big trucks that clearly don't care what happens to them, as we saw with the truck on the bridge in the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they just drive through the diner to get to the people? They're literally right by the window. And then sure enough, towards the end of the movie, they drive through. But they could have done that, 45 minutes ago and saved us a lot of time.
Yeah, this like it's only like a 16-page story anyway. They've uploaded it out, but at least with Clive Barker stuff, they add extra story in.
Yeah.
Where this just, well, I kind of wrote this bit, so I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Oh, let's just have him driving around in circles for 40 minutes. Yeah, man,
I think that's probably word for word what that day was like on the production. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's all machines they take over. So it could have been like really cool, and they could have focused on the boy trying to get to the dad and like what he had to go through to get around the different machines. Like it could have been done, like more like focus on that storyline and just more like intimate, as opposed to just we got like 30 people in a diner and the trucks are riding around in a circle. It could have been done so much cooler.
God, there's another there's loads of highway horror movies, and one where there's like a sentient truck that hunts people down in the motorway. And this one, it's all done in black, and it's like almost like it's all rusted, and it chases this one particular guy. And that had more, and it's only like two, it's a car and a truck on an empty road, and every so often a car would appear now and again.
Yeah.
And there was more plot in it.
Yeah, I believe it.
No, just a shame, because there's so much that could have been done with this, but they just didn't bother. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it had elements of a cool story.
Yeah, back to the refueling scene. I think if they had just had the problem is as well, they had too many people in the diner to take shifts. So if it was only like one or two people and the characters were working themselves to the bone and not getting breaks, I would understand. But no, there's about 20 people in that bloody diner. So you put it, if you do a 2-hour shift, you're back getting your head down and getting rested.
Yeah. Yeah. And why were their hands like, and why are their hands all calloused? Like there are people that work at a gas station all day, and there's no gloves. Their hands have to be blistered like that. It was just
once again
so over the top.
I need to look at Stephen King's life, because he has an issue. Like, honestly, he does. He has a proper issue with just ordinary working Joes.
That's what it is. And you hit on it.
He hates them and loathes them, and I think he's a bit jealous of them. I just don't get his. Yeah. I don't get him.
I think he nailed it, though. I think that's why he did it that way. But it's terrible.
Talk about that. Brad, why was I saying he deserved his? Oh, Brad, yes.
The guy who steals the ring from the woman at the end.
Like, what was the point in that?
Yeah. And the funny thing is he was totally fine until he decides, like, he takes the ring, he's fine, still has plenty of time to get back to the group, but then he stops in the middle of the road and kisses the ring. I mean, at that point.
Yeah, you knew he was done for. Yeah. And then Goblin Truck has to get its last scene, and it's sneaking up, and then it decides to make a lot of noise when there's loads of room. You're like, you can dodge that.
That's what I'm saying. Like the whole movie, like no one tries to go left or right. Maybe they make it, maybe they don't. But I'll tell you what doesn't work: standing still.
Yeah, and staring at the thing, doing the awkward horror stare.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. There's only, like you said, there's only 3 relatable characters in this entire thing.
Yeah. But I thought it would have been better. I thought it would have been better if it was just Emilio Estevez, the girl and the boy, you know, like you would have had more scenes where the machines killed the other people. It would have been more of a, you know, true horror movie as opposed to,
because there's lots of scenes with, you know, bodies. There was extras, and there was all the makeup and the art done. So it was like, well, instead of wasting the money on that, you've got your crew, you know, you've got your body bags as such. Use them and have each of them trying to get to the diner and failing maybe.
Right.
And then you have the three meet up. You know, there's so many ways, simple ways, that this could have been made better with the same, even half the budget.
Yeah, I know you're not a fan of remakes, but this is one that I think actually could be done really well if they did it. If they didn't have any messaging in it and they didn't have any social commentary on how we're abusing machines, if they just made it like a cool horror movie these days.
Can't do that anymore. We're going to have to wait 10 years till this nonsense peters out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because honestly, it's look, you see it now. You see when I review a movie in the last 3 years, I'm banging the head of the desk. I'm just like, what is this? It's nothing. That's why I've kind of stepped back in time. I've become that old man who's stepped back in the era, and it's not because there's anything. There's just things that are shit.
Yeah,
it's not even modern sensibilities. It's just like, no, you're just making crap movies, and you're just using an excuse.
Yeah. No, I have a buddy that feels the same way as you do, and I'm getting there too. I'm finding that I'm complaining more and more about stuff.
Back to your favorite franchise. Back to your favorite franchise. Yeah, you can just walk off a lightsaber friggin' burn now. You know, okay, shake that off. Back to work the next day.
Well, it had been 10 years since Qui-Gon Jinn got stabbed, so the technology's come a long way. No, I'm just kidding. That was ridiculous. I'll
have to share a video with you. The guy I follow, the Critical Drinker. Don't know if you've heard of him.
No.
I'll share you a video. He did one there. What would actually happen to you if a lightsaber stabbed you? And it's this whole thing of, you know, you basically get vaporized, you know, because of the temperatures and all, what it's supposed to be, hot plasma and stuff. And that was kind of, once again, that was the horror aspect, that these things were that dangerous that just to get hit once, that was it, game over. That was the whole point of the dance, you know, the skill that it only takes one hit.
Right.
And then just it's okay.
Not even like machinery or anything. It was just like it was a Band-Aid. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you walk that off.
Go get him, sport. Yeah, you can walk that off. Just a flesh wound. 'Tis a flesh wound.
Yep. Damn. No, actually, we're doing a talking spot. We're doing a chat about sensitivity in horror soon. I think the next 2 weeks.
I'm looking forward to that.
Because we've now got the same people come into horror and they're like, oh, you have to change the words. Oh, this can't be. You have to, you know, somebody might get offended, or not even offended, get too frightened or something. You're like, dude, don't watch. If honestly, there has to be a point where you self-regulate.
There's other genres for you. Yeah. Don't come into this genre and try to mess it up. Yeah.
Or better still, there's such wide range. Have a trusted friend who knows you and be like, okay, well, you can watch that. That's all right. Nah, don't watch that. Like, I wouldn't get you to watch. You said you hadn't watched horror in years and you weren't really into it. And I'm like, I'm not going to go, here's Terrifier. Watch that. You know, you'd be like, well, what the hell? You know, you don't do that to someone.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm taking it easy. I'm starting with these 80s ones.
Horror nerds get it. That like put somebody who's maybe not used to the genre into something just mad, isn't a good idea, because then you put them off where you want more fans, not less. Because more fans about it, never want it to be mainstream. If that makes sense, want it to still have its edge. But you've got these people who are coming in now going, no, you got to change this word. You can't say mad, you can't say insane anymore. And that's the whole point, because it's demonstrating from an illness to a psychosis. And the psychosis is a horror because that's where you're dangerous to others. And that's the language that, you know, lets you know that you're not in safe territory anymore, and people are like, nah. But it's not even about the genre. It's just these type of people want to do that.
Huh.
They like this movie. They can watch this. That's their punishment. They have to watch this movie and repeat.
On a loop.
Because I genuinely had struggled. Like after when they're all in the diner and stuff and they're trapped, is something going to happen anytime soon?
Yeah, it did drag.
And the bloody culvert thing, the sewer exit, like that was how much was that played out?
Yeah, that was over the top. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
God, and that's it. The escape on a sailboat. But it all gets sorted out anyway. So it wasn't that they're going to a post-apocalyptic world, to live like a simple life without machines.
Yeah, no, everything's fine, right? The Russians, which I liked. Thank goodness for the 80s Russians, right? That was an interesting little note they put at the end.
Well, it was kind of, it was the Cold War era, so you can understand that hung over everything.
Right. Yeah, for sure. But they shoot down the UFO and save the day. So like you said, they don't even have to live on an island. They just have to wait a week, and then everything's back to normal.
Yeah. Like that shouldn't have. I don't know the point of that epilogue, because them just sailing off the unknown territory to what the world's going to look like.
Yeah, at least you're thinking about it. Yeah.
Because how does this thing take over? Is it mechanical? Once again, is it mechanical operation, or is it anything that's non-sentient with moving parts?
Right.
Does it have to
didn't clarify that.
Yeah, does it have to have a combustible engine or electricity? We don't know, because the movie in 1 hour 40 minutes didn't bother explaining any of that.
Yeah, they spent too much time in the diner. That would have been nice to put a minute or two into the plot. Yeah,
like any movie, you try and find the origins or find out what the hell's happening. Okay, why is this thing come alive and trying to kill me, and this doesn't?
Yeah.
Like, there's a kitchen, and the only thing that comes alive was the electric carving knife.
Right. Which I love that they made her work the rest of the movie.
Yeah, but that's once again, that's
working as waitress.
Yeah, that's Bubba's character. Just
she's still working.
Oh man, even AC/DC couldn't save this movie.
Yeah, you could make a case that was the best part of this movie. And I think without that, go ahead.
Didn't even play AC/DC enough to get an impact.
Yeah, they could have used it more, but it was cool. It was cool. I mean, I bet you whatever money they made, which was clearly not much, I bet majority of that was because of the soundtrack. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, but it wasn't even used. Like, you got a quarter of the intro to Hell's Bells, and then it was over, and it wasn't even like there's lead up. Let's talk about the Marvel stuff when it was actually good. Iron Man.
Yeah.
There's they used AC/DC to full effect.
Yes, that's true. They did better.
They went to the trouble of paying the licensing, getting the rights, permission to use the songs, blah blah blah, and did nothing with it. Because you can't even. That's even the being the AC/DC soundtrack. If they hadn't told me, I'd have barely recognized it because they barely used any clips, and they didn't build it into a scene.
Right.
And fucking AC/DC has enough tracks to do it. And this could have been a fun romp, but yeah, I think because Stephen King's just devoid of all, I'd even say now he's devoid of personality.
Yeah. The part that makes me smile, though, is the idea of AC/DC sitting together to watch this movie, excited that their music is going to be in it, and then just staring at each other at the end of the movie.
What the hell?
It just happened.
Then the fire manager the next day. You out.
Yeah. That's right.
And that's the bloody movie. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no plot. There's nothing to hang on to. There's nothing to really deep dive into. It's a struggle.
It was. What was your favorite part of the movie, if anything?
Yeah, the the baseball pitch scene, because that actually had an element of horror to it. Something simple like a drinks machine. You know, that's how it started off, and something that should have been comical turned out to be, you know, lethal.
Yeah.
And then the fact that broke the cardinal rule of horror, you know, movies is you don't kill kids, and the fact that we're just getting them run over and stuff, you know, that's, you know, showing that there was no prisoners.
Yeah, the kids and the dog too, and the neighborhood dog, right? Got killed. Something was a remote control car or something.
Remote control car was stuck in its mouth, but
yeah. So that definitely would, you know, had elements that could be scary, and then they just ruined it with the rest of it. I think my favorite part of the movie though was the ATM machine telling Stephen King,
"You're an asshole." Yeah. And then the bank was going "fuck you" at the top.
Yeah, that's I think
there was
that about summed it up.
Yeah, but there you go. So now we have an interface, for example. We have an interface for the machines to communicate, and we have a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Was anything done with it?
No. Yeah. If they could infiltrate computers, they could have just launched all the missiles, all the nuclear missiles, and be done.
You had the scene with the airplane, and I actually wigged out. Did the airplane crash?
It did. You didn't see it happen, but you saw it already landed on top of
I kind of something. It was that point of the movie I was starting to zone out a bit, just going, "Oh right, no, gotta focus." Yeah, I'm reviewing this because. Just a lot of nothing happening, but there's even without missiles, airplanes, you know, job done.
Yeah. Which could have been, you know, pretty scary to think of all these airplanes crashing at once, but they didn't.
Yeah,
they didn't capitalize. Like it had nuggets of a really cool idea. Yeah.
I just want to know that budget went. I think that's went into somebody's back pocket.
You could be right.
Seriously, I'm calling out. I'm suspecting, you know, in my opinion, of course, money laundering. Has to be.
Let's get an audit on this. Yeah.
There's no way you've spent that much money for things that have got bad and nothing to actually happen. Like those effects and stuff that are there. There's not what is so expensive about this movie?
No,
where was the budget 50% spent?
Went. Maybe Stephen King's drug dealer. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
But then again, is coke not supposed to be a stimulant? So would he not be like, we'll do this, and then it should have been like a bonkers, like just full throttle movie?
That's fair.
What's, you know what I mean? What's the other stuff? Fair. What's downers? You know, did he mix up his supply? Is that what happened?
Maybe he messed that up. Yeah.
He took a load of downers instead, so he's like.
You guys just do whatever you think. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh, do we do anything?" Nah, just film us, okay. Oh man, I don't know. It's more fun to go back to this one to go, yeah, okay, that was a movie, but just thinking like, there's no reason for this to have been that bad.
Yeah, like I said, I'd love to see someone do this the right way because it's a cool concept. You know, it's terrifying when everywhere you look, there's, you know, a machine that could be, you know, killing you. You know?
God, even Terminator 3 did it better, and that movie was terrible.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That movie was cheesy as hell, but it's still... I would watch Terminator 3 any day of the week than this.
Yeah.
Well.
I'm sorry I recommended it.
No, like it's one of them ones. Just it's fun to like poke up, but at the same time, because there's nothing, you're just like, okay, what did I say now? What would you have changed? What would have been the biggest change to turn this around, or one scene that could have maybe?
I think they messed up the focus. I think instead of focusing on the entire group of diner regulars or Emilio Estevez, I think if they had focused on the kid and his journey to get to his dad, and maybe not kill the dad so early, maybe make that like a poignant scene at the very end. You know, like he doesn't quite get to him in time.
Yeah.
But then Emilio, you know, something like that. If they've made it like a more personal, you know, journey through all this horror that's around him with all these machines trying to kill him, I think it could be a really cool idea.
Yeah, because it wasn't a problem with locations, because he'd already used locations and had been through it. So
yeah, him going through the house, going through his neighborhood, stuff trying to kill him, and
so they'd already got the location shot. So they can't say there wasn't the budget for location. They'd done it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just stumped. There's nothing about this makes sense. Have anybody except Stephen King direct the remake? Yes. God, even Michael Bay would be better. Michael Bay would write better dialogue and do better explosions.
Yeah, Michael Bay would do this in a heartbeat. He's already got all the props from the Transformers movies.
What was that? Was it the second one that did all the toasters and stuff?
Yes. See, he's ready. He's been dying to do this.
There you go. And having the machines morph into something or combine, you know,
like Voltron style, come together.
Yeah, but, you know, like there was the ingredients with Christine. Have you seen Christine?
Yeah. While ago, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's the elements with Christine, the crumple zone and stuff, and then come back together. So they could have done something Christine style. So not transforming, but like crashing into each other and melding and becoming like a monster.
That would have been better of a boss villain than the Goblin truck. Yeah.
Yeah, and even the Goblin, like if the Goblin face had melted. Yeah. Like that thing was pristine right up until the end. If that thing had have actually melted, for example, and took on like a demonic look.
Right. Yeah. I like
in fact, the demon truck chasing what do you call him? Kip? No, not Kip. Dink. So Dink trying to get to his dad while the Goblin truck's chasing him. Then they wouldn't have needed the 50 other trucks.
Right.
One truck, a few decent effects, and it melted a bit. You know, that all get in. Like I don't know what Charles play with Chucky's doll. Don't know they threw him in the fire and he came back. You know what I mean? Tons of stuff we could have done.
I'd watch that movie. Yeah, I like it.
There you go. We've saved this movie. Oh well, right. I think we've beaten this dead horse anyway. Because God's sake, it was fair play to you for watching it again. Like honestly, it's a flipping slog, and then to relive it because this isn't so much a review; it's a reliving of a bad experience.
Yeah, this was getting over a childhood trauma for me. You know, this now I'm not afraid of anything.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Yeah, I'm good. True. Sorted.
Exactly.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks very much for coming on, and as always, we'll have a laugh if nothing else. That's the main thing. Yeah, if you have watched this movie and you've actually liked it, please tell us why, and let us know in the comments. Because be interesting to hear your thoughts on that. Because I'm at a loss here, and so is Chris. So there you go. But yeah, we'll revisit some movies are awful, some are golden gems. It's just it's a bit of a dice roll. What can I say? That's part of the fun of going back in time and look at the old nostalgia engine. You know what I mean?
It's amazing how different things are with perspective. Yeah.
But yeah, I think we'll queue up Tremors. Let's go back. That's a fun one to go back to.
That'd be awesome.
We'll do that at some stage in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, that'll be fun. And then, this Thursday we're doing Meet the Feebles. So Dale's coming on, and we're going to continue down the Peter Jackson rabbit hole. So,
cool! Looking forward to that. Nice.
That'll be a bit of a laugh.
Awesome.
The eternal question will always be, how the hell did he get Lord of the Rings? Because once we do this back catalog up the end, it's like. But there you go, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. Had a laugh, nothing else. As always, keep up to date with the channel. Do the typey clicky things. And until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.